Brooklyn Independent Television.
A rectangle press is a mega artistic micro press where the scope of books are stretched, yet the size of the books are decreased. Intrigued? Let's check them out.
I'm Jessica Elsesser. I am one of the members of a Rectangle Press. I'm also a poet.
We've been making books together for 5 years now. I also do a form of trapeze called Lyra. We also collaboratively write everything for our books together.
We were talking about creation as an act of magic and how my earlier fascinations with books were largely rooted in, I guess, the possibility of unexpected things happening. In my artistic endeavors, that sort of follows through, finding joy and coincidence in everyday things.
Jess and I went to school together at Pratt for creative writing, and there's kind of a couple different ways, like as part of our personal mythology, that the press came to be. We used to have like a secret mailbox in one of the bathrooms there that you could open up part of a radiator and like leave messages. So we did that for a long time, and that sort of started this like back and forth. We would kind of do some projects where one of us would add something, and then in conjunction with that, at the same time, we came up with this name, A Rectangle Press. It made sense to use that name and to be able to do it together because neither of us kind of owned it, but we both loved it. So we got together one night and made a really small edition.
That phrase has sort of embodied that idea of wanting our, books to have a complete thread from concept to form to text.
What it was then and what it's kind of continued to be is just an effort to continue making things and to be putting stuff out there that is what we want to be saying and that is reaching other people. A lot of our work is based on wanting to create experiences, so that's why we have books where elements in it need to be destroyed or altered or picked open or unwrapped so that the reader is getting that feeling of participating in creating it and feeling like it's a moment that's happening right then.
People ask us a lot why they qualify as books. And I think the answer is that I don't really care if they do. The most important thing is that they be successful in conveying some emotion or sentiment or human commonality.
We both are book lovers, and I think those people still exist out there. There's a difference between absorbing information and reading and experiencing a book in that way. And I know for me, I've taken books like traveling and get a wine stain on the. Later you go back and that book has its own memory and its own meaning and kind of relates to the time in which you read it. The more that technology kind of infiltrates our lives and takes over kind of the day-to-day, that things like opening a book and smelling it start to feel kind of special and wonderful. And I think that a lot of our work also relates to day-to-day stuff, so we have like the egg book, or we have one book that's modeled after matches. I think our work is pretty close to what am I doing with my life right now, what am I doing in day-to-day, and those things are really closely related to certain colors and textures and feelings, and I think our books try and incorporate a lot of those elements. The more that technology becomes readily accessible, the more precious and sort of meaningful things that can't be mass-produced will be.
We initially started printing receipts that were from, that fictional mailbox that we had in college, and it was supposed to be this mythical bookstore that you would go into and buy these weird things. And we also included, a souvenir, something that you could take away from the book. All these things that were part of the book, but also symbolize the fact that it was an experience.
I never thought that I would be the kind of person who could collaborate, just because I get really specific about visual details and just everything. It's kind of been crazy because Jess and I are it's almost like twin speak, we're able to finish each other's sentences.
We write line by line, sometimes word by word. It's a really bizarre experience editing someone's work as though it were your own. You just lose all fear of offending or, wanting to preserve their initial idea, and it's not about your idea and my idea, it's about the idea.
We edit all of our writing on this clothesline, so write and edit and then look, and we both wrote the exact same thing, This book is called Temporary Shelters, and this book is a planter, so it comes packed in dirt. It hangs like this, and all of the writing is curled up inside of it. It's about the idea of like the human body as a sort of temporary house for like something else. It's like hand typed on the typewriter, so like a little caterpillar or something came in and ate it. I know a woman who still hasn't gone back for the things she didn't take with her. I know a man who only has one cup. I had a dream where everything I had ever loaned anyone was returned, and that was all I had in the world. And in another, I met someone who knew all about me, even things he said I didn't know yet.
There's a room in this apartment that used to look out at an air shaft, and it was the other side of the building, and the air shaft was inhabited by a large number of pigeons. So the first story we wrote was from the perspective of that spirit looking in through the window and remembering their past as being alive. This side of the Lord. I'm not going to say that things haven't changed. I know you're in the room. I have the feeling I am looking over your shoulder. Instead of breathing, I become more or less solid. It happens to all of me at once. I am still separate from other things. I can still sing. This is 2 variations on winter.
There's packing material that like went in between each layer of like a billion boxes.
A weight that is not heavy, but difficult to grasp. Every day we get up, brief fevers, and you need anybody who will meet you as far as you can go. And it's not far. A voice saying, that heart's not going to beat forever.
You get it in your head. What does it take to bring you out? Except an extraordinary event. You wait for it. You wait for it. Until you forget. A winter is only like an end.
That's it.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at breakartsmedia.org/BIT.